If you're into cars and or motorcycles, you probably know my buddy, Gordon Tronson. Gordon's cars have been shown around the world and featured on many TV shows like Counting Cars, Bitchin' Rides, Big Kenny's Crank It Up, etc., etc. But before Gordon became the rock star builder we all know, he was sued by Lamborghini for $5 million. Gordon used to build very high quality Lamborghini replicas. This one's real. The second half of this video contains Gordon's Lamborghini business promotional video. It's an awesome piece of the 80s.
Yeah, g'day. I'm Gordon Tronson.
Let's head down to Gordon's and get the story.
Everybody in the world pretty well knows what a Lamborghini Countach is if you're a car enthusiast. And for the most part, none of us can really afford one because they're exorbitant. And so back in the day, I figured the only way I'm going to get one is I got to build one. I actually saw my first Lamborghini in a magazine, and it was an Australian magazine, which was kind of ironic because I'm actually from New Zealand. And I was living in Canada at the time. And they had taken this gentleman that owned the car. He was actually like 6 foot something. Anyway, they had to bubble the roof on the car so he could fit in it. Anyway, I was stricken by that car. I just thought it was the most coolest looking thing on the planet. There was just nothing even to compare it, come close to it, whatever. So fast forward a couple of years later, I was determined, that's it, I'm going to build one. So that's what I did. So I started out building actually what I ended up doing is going to a toy store and I bought a 12 scale model. And the box, on the box it said 12 scale, so I figured, okay, so I'll just times everything by 12 and I should come out pretty close. So that's what I did, and I actually ended up drawing all kinds of paperwork, and I had a ruler, and I just kept timesing everything by 12, and I used a pair of dividers, and I was going all over this little model, and eventually I was ready to build, so I go down to the hardware store, and I buy all these 2x4s, lumber and plywood and everything, and I started building what they call a buck, and that's pretty much a complete car made out of wood, and I had a friend, some of my friends would come by and say, "Well, what are you building, a boat?" Because it kind of looked like I was building a boat of some kind. Anyway, later on, I ended up with a buck. I had all the doors. I had the everything all made out of wood and all sanded, painted, and finished. So then the process from that is you make molds from all those pieces, and then from that you actually do the whole process again, and you end up with the parts. So that's basically what I did. And then I built my own chassis. That's all tubular steel. I used down the junkyard, many visits to the junkyard, getting front suspension components, braking systems, and the engine's a small block Chevy, mated to a Porsche transaxle, and then Corvette carriers and hubs and what have you. And then the interior, actually made it all out of aluminum and all leather interior. All the gauges were Vinola, or whatever they call them, Italian gauges. So pretty much at the end of the day, it looked pretty much like a real Lamborghini.
The quality that I've seen in the pictures, and I know that anniversary car is still out, the quality is almost second to none that you put out on these cars.
It was very, very good. And as you said later on, as each one we built obviously got better and better, but they were first-class cars. Even the doors were incredible. They worked perfectly. After building the first one, I was fortunate to have it. A magazine article did a great story on it, and then all of a sudden I got inundated with requests possibly to build one for various people. So one thing led to another. The next thing I know, we're getting into business building Lamborghini replicas. So that's how it started. And so we're plodding along, building these things. We built approximately, I think, built 10 of them. And the last 2 that we were building, I ended up getting a visit from a lawyer who said, "You've been served a $5 million lawsuit from Lamborghini to stop doing it."
How did you think in the first place they weren't going to come after you?
Well, being sort of naive, I didn't know anything about, copyright, trademarks and all this stuff. So, and what was really interesting, what they got us on was a term that I've never ever heard before. Very few people know about it. It's called trade dress. And a good example is if you had a neon sign that was shaped like a N instead of an M, the first thing you think about is McDonald's. So what you're doing is you're kind of cashing in on somebody else's deal.
They got the golden arches. Mine is the golden arcs.
So anyway, that's what happened. So after talking to the lawyer in New York, he said it was okay. We made a deal that we could finish the 2 cars that we were building, but we had to pay him a whole bunch of money.
The lawyers, they just want,
yeah,
they just want money.
Typical bloody lawyer, it was all about them. So after that, we pretty well quit, and that was the end of it.
But when they came to you and said, you were sued for $5 million, what did that do to you? I mean, could you sleep? What did that do to you?
Having been issued the $5 million, it was kind of didn't really matter if it was 1 million or 100 million.
we didn't
have any of that kind of money to fight it, and we actually did it. Went and saw a patent attorney, and he actually said, "Forget it, you're not going to win." So that was it. So pretty well gave it up, and fortunately for me, I have a background of telecommunications, so I started my own telecommunications business, and that was the end of the Countach. Meanwhile, as you can see where we're sitting, this is my Diablo, and it happens to be a real one. It came out of Tampa, Florida, and I'm very, very excited about it. It's probably one of my favorite cars of all time.
Live the dream.
And that's it.
So you were pulled over in one of your replica cars you were building. Why did they pull you over?
Yeah, so I think the second to last car was the absolutely stunning, gorgeous 25th anniversary that we built, and we actually ended up putting it up for sale. We were actually commissioned to build it for a guy, and lucky for him, we had a deadline. We didn't quite make it, so he canceled on his contract. So now we were kind of stuck with this 25th anniversary model. Anyway, we advertised it on DuPont back in the day. That magazine was all the high-end stuff. And anyway, a gentleman came out to test drive it or go check it out. So we took him for a test drive. And I'm cruising down the I-15, and next minute I get boxed in by 3 highway patrol cars. Couldn't move, so eventually I had to pull over. Got out, one of the big officers comes up to me and he says, "You know why I pulled you over?" And I said, "I have no idea." I said, "I wasn't speeding." I said, "I've got a 1-day registration pass." He says, "Well, actually, we just want to take pictures of your car." He says, "We've got one of our photographers in the back seat of the patrol car, and he's going to take a whole bunch of pictures and ask you a bunch of questions." He says, "So it's all for goodwill."
Okay, that's when you say, "Yep, no problem, officer."
Yeah. If anybody happens to know where any of these cars are, we would love to know where they are.
I'd love to know. I'd love to see one. Yeah. Get a hold of us. Put something in the comments. Let us know. We want to find them. I want to see one. They're out there somewhere. So you made a promotional video for these cars. I love it. It's so 80s. Why did you make the video? And I can't believe you still have it.
Yeah, well, when we first, we started our little adventure business, we had a really professional photographer come and do a video for us, and fortunately I still have a copy. And we were actually advertising those in kit car magazines and various automobile magazines, and you could write to us and we would send you a video and a brochure package.
Well, cool. I hope everyone enjoys the video. Here it is. One more thing. As part of the settlement with Lamborghini, Gordon had to destroy all the molds. So these definitely don't exist.
Yeah, g'day. I'm Gordon Tronson, President of Concept Automobiles. I would like to introduce you to the new GCT Countach. So sit back, fasten your seatbelts, and let's take a look at this stunning automobile. The GCT Countach is a redesigned replica of the world-famous Lamborghini Countach. At approximately $200,000 a copy for the original, this puts it out of reach for most of us. At Concept Automobiles, we can now offer the prestige of owning this exotic sports car at a reasonable cost. Because our cars are built from North American parts, this not only makes it reasonable to maintain, but much less to insure. Our first generation GCTs provided excellent proving grounds. 3 years later, our new GCT has benefited from this research and development into a very trouble-free automobile. The GCT weighs in at approximately 3,000 pounds, giving the comfortable ride of a grand touring automobile. Wheelbase is 96 inches, width 78 inches, and height 42 inches. Overall length is 161 inches. We shortened the front end about 2 inches to give our car a more aggressive look and also to help eliminate the problem of catching the front spoiler negotiating driveways. Our body is of a one-piece laminated fiberglass unit, with front bumper and spoilers being separate. All other pieces such as deck lids, covers, are reinforced with steel tubing. Our doors are made up of a fiberglass skin bonded to a metal frame. The inner box is of aluminum, making the doors of superior strength. Door hinges and latches are mounted directly to the steel chassis. Gas struts control the door's movements. Front and rear glass is of the laminated safety type, while the side tempered glass is specifically made for Concept automobiles. The bottom half window rolls up and down approximately 2 inches. The interior was designed for maintenance and accessibility in mind. Rather than use a one-piece fiberglass unit, all our floor panels, console, dash and firewalls are made of aluminum. The removable firewall panels make it easier to do maintenance, example when doing the water pump or fuel pump. Our own bucket seats are adjustable and are padded with high density foam, as are all interior parts. All upholstery is French stitched, either in leatherette or, as this model shows, optional Connolly leather. The carpeting is all fully under padded and advanced acoustical installation is used throughout. Tilt wheel is also standard, as is the heater and air conditioning. In a hot climate, the high output air conditioning is strongly recommended. As you will realize during this video shooting, we put our car through some very hot temperatures, mostly above 100 degrees. Our car was found to be most comfortable. Of course, an Alpine deck is standard on our cars, and for those who prefer a more elaborate system, we can provide any audio system by request. Trunk space is approximately 6 cubic feet. Our chassis is built of a complex multi-tube steel configuration incorporating an 1 3/4 NHRR 6-point roll bar. Front and rear suspension is very similar to that of any high-performance race car, this being of the unequal AM configuration, all of which is custom built using urethane bushings. Adjustable coilover shocks and disc brakes are in each corner. Steering is rack and pinion, and also incorporated both front and rear are anti-sway bars. Our suspension system is fully adjustable and should be a breeze for any alignment shop. Standard engine in our cars is a reliable 350 Chevy small block, coupled to either automatic transaxle or 4 or 5 speed standard. In keeping in with the Clean Air Act, our basic turnkey GCT is so equipped to meet Nevada EPA standards. Twin fuel tanks are installed on either side of the engine, approximately 20 gallons. Fuel cells are optional. Also situated either side of the engine are our custom designed 6-core radiators with thermostatic controlled 10-blade fans. Headlamps are electric with manual backup operation in case of emergency. Paint on our basic car will be acrylic enamel, while custom paint such as this base coat care coat is optional. As you can see, our second generation GCT was designed with the customer in mind. Not only do you get a high-class exotic automobile, but this car is inexpensive to own and maintain, whereby virtually any sound mechanic can work on. All in all, I think you'll find that the GCT is well engineered automobile, and believe me, this car would look great parked up your driveway.